what are the chances of getting scholarship for Indian students?
I would say there are a lot of scholarships available from the from the time when you apply to a university. So based on your entire profile, your resume, how strong it is, you can get. If a university is really impressed with your entire profile, you can get a scholarship when you are admitted at that time itself. uh, but I would like to highlight one point that so in my particular case, I was offered a scholarship from ASU University, which is good university for computer science, and I had applied for computer science. But since the seats were filled, I was offered a degree in software engineering. Or a course in software engineering with a good amount of scholarship, but I decided not to pursue that because I was not ready to compromise my course or my track just for saving some money, because if you are really interested in something, you should go irrespective of whether you get initial scholarship or not. So that's one thing you should keep in mind, and you should focus, like you should think properly before deciding taking any decision. So I particularly wanted to highlight that part, but it's not like even if you are admitted and you are not getting scholarship, once you start your masters, there are a lot of other scholarships available on your university portals. You can just browse through your university's page, and all the information regarding these all the types of scholarships would be there. So based on where you are qualifying, so there are certain criteria, settings for each scholarships. So they are mostly based on, sometimes they are based or focused towards a particular group of people or particular community.
Hmm.
So see whether you are qualifying for everything, all the points mentioned in those scholarship. And if you think you are a good fit, then don't wait. Apply immediately, because the slots are very less for scholarships, and it's based on first come first serve. So don't think twice. If you think you are qualifying for something, then there's no point in waiting. Just apply for it and hope that you get it. But keep looking for different scholarships in different semesters, because there are always some available. Again, there are scholarships particularly focused towards Indian students as well, which are part of some other organizations apart from universities.
Here, I want to know that is there any kind of relationship between the GRE score and getting scholarship, and what is the minimum score required for getting a scholarship from the good college or university?
There is a relationship between GRE and getting scholarship. It majorly depends on what universities you're trying. So if you have a GRE score of, say, let's say 310 on 340,
Yeah.
and if you try to get admit some very good universities like UIC or Northeastern universities, chances are really bleak to get admits firstly, and then scholarships on top of that. But if you score good or decent and you try to like get admits from colleges which are not really good, they are fine, but on the lower end of the rankings, say let's say 50 or 60 in the US, your chances increase at that point. So if you really want to save money and get scholarships, you should try to score decently and choose your program, that is CS for example, and aim colleges which are like easy admits for you, not moderate or not ambitious admits for you. And there is no minimum GRE score needed for scholarship. It entirely depends on what colleges you are applying to.
Okay. So, would you like to add some factors that are important in terms of college admission?
We covered this point in previous questions, so just to reiterate, some factors would be um, like taking part in extracurricular activities like social clubs, technical clubs, organizing hackathons in college, or just being a part of it.
Hmm.
Then personal projects in a domain of your liking, internships, and finally job experience.
Okay. So, the next one, can you give the idea regarding the overall expenses?
Again, expenses majorly depend on where your college is. If it's in a big city like New York, Boston, or San Francisco, or a smaller city like Dallas, um, so our city comes in medium cost of living area. So the cost of living is naturally not as high as what you can expect in New York or San Francisco.
Hmm.
uh, Tuition fee again depends on universities. UTD unfortunately was the costliest public university, so the fees are really high, and it was at par with some universities in Chicago.
Hmm.
So for us, the I-20 amount or the tuition fee for 1 year was $49,000,
Hmm.
which is almost same as what UIC charges in Chicago.
Okay.
Apart from that, living expenses, as I said, majorly depends on which city you live in. So to give a ballpark figure, expenses in Dallas, like I used to spend around $550 to $600 every month, which included rent, utilities like electricity and Wi-Fi, and other admin costs that societies usually charge for water and sewage. Then mobile bill comes around $30 to $40, and groceries and eating out usually come to around $100 to $200.
Okay.
The expense part or the rent or cost of living entirely depends on like which university you select and which part of US you are landing up in. So again, major cities like LA, NY, SF, Bay Area, all those areas are very expensive, but have good opportunities also. So it's completely based on location, I would say,
So
the expense.
approximately, if you calculate how much we have to spend for 2 years course.
I would say definitely see everyone coming to US generally takes loan, which is around the standard amount which is approved, or the max amount which I have personally seen gets approved is for 40 lakhs rupees. So I would say for us it worked out for over an year, and most probably I would say 1.2 years, 1.3 years living expense, and 2 semesters where we could cover in that. But after that, we still had some amount left, but not enough to cover for our third semester tuition fees. So at such points, you need to shell some money out of your own pocket, and you need to be prepared for the worst case also, because at times, like you need to be clear that that 40 lakhs cannot cover your entire master's journey, but
Yes.
you also need not worry that then how come I'm going to like complete my masters if I'm if the tuition fees or the overall expense goes beyond 40 lakhs. So the answer to this is you can do your part-time internships, try to secure part-time internships in college, and
That's going to be my next question, Gaurang.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, come like since the expense was involved, this is the way to tackle like from the start itself.
Yeah.
Since you cannot do internships till your first 2 semesters, you can always focus on securing on-campus jobs.
Yes.
There are a lot of different opportunities or areas where you can focus securing an on campus jobs, part-time jobs as they are called, and those are 20 hours jobs. So you can't work in a week more than 20 hours, so it's limited to that period, but at least it can cover decent amount of your monthly expense.
Correct.
It can reduce that. So it would be very helpful if you can secure that in your first 2 semesters, and obviously later on we can you all of students can try to secure an internship as well.
So, how helpful the internship is for managing your expenses as well as from career point of view, and how did you manage your expenses?
Yeah, internships are extremely important, majorly for getting a full-time job, and also secondly for managing your monthly expenses, living expenses. So unless your company pays really good for an internship, which usually happens in big companies, it will be enough to cover living expenses for at least 6 months to a year, if not tuition fees. But if they're paying really good, I have heard of cases where people have even like paid for their one semester tuition fee using the internship money. I myself could pay one semester tuition fee using internship money and could save some money for for living expenses. Apart from that, the experience which you gain from internships help you to gain further internships if you can, like if you have the time to do so. For example, I did one co-op and one normal internship. So the co-op helped me to get a normal summer internship, and both of these internships helped me to get a full-time job. So getting the first job is really difficult in the US, extremely difficult. But once you get that job, once you get into the industry, it becomes relatively easy.
So internship is challenging. Okay. So can you share your experience of getting internship?
Okay, so almost all of us who came together for masters, at least me and Gaurang, we couldn't secure a summer internship in the first summer, which is a summer usually everyone does internships, and we could not get an internship. And like we were really tensed as to what will happen for the full-time jobs, because we don't have internships, and usually these internships get converted into full-time jobs,
Yeah.
and we don't have one. But fortunately, Gaurang got an internship. I got a bit late, but yeah, eventually it worked out. uh, I was facing rejections left, right, and center. I was applying to companies and not getting like ahead of first or second rounds. But luckily, I got an internship in one of the companies. I worked there for since January to May for 5 months, and then I was simultaneously looking for another internship for the subsequent summer sem. At that time, I found it a bit easy to get internship, at least interview calls, and that resulted in one more internship in summer. And with these two internship experiences on resume, uh, the experience to search a full-time job became much more easy than the previous cycle. I searched for jobs for two cycles, one in 2020 where the situation was bad, and one in 2021 where the situation was really much better than the previous one, just because of these two internships.
So getting rejection one after the another for the internship. At the same time, you people had one thought in mind that we have to pay for the next semester also. Somewhere we could manage into that amount. So how did you handle that situation? Because it is a frustrating situation for many students. Correct?
Yeah.
Exactly. I was lucky to have my friends as my roommates, whom I could discuss and like rant to. Then family support was always there. I used to speak with them and just get on with my day. But you have to understand that you will face rejections for like while applying to jobs, but eventually you'll get something. The ratio is really bad. Like my success ratio was 1% for offer and like 10% for interviews. So if I applied to 100 companies, I got interviews from 10 and I got offer from just one.
Okay.
So this is something which you will need to expect when you come for masters, unless you have really good work experience previously.
So be patient and work hard. That I could say
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Um, for me personally, like Sumedh said, we had a lot of difficulties finding internship because we had there were many factors. Maybe since we had no industry exposure or work experience, professional work experience back in India, since we continued our education for masters directly. So that was one thing. Then we had pandemic, and there were very less jobs available in market. All these things added up, and we were like tensed because securing an internship is really important in US, because it is literally a stepping stone on which further like you can see and measure your success based on how good internship you can secure in US. So that thing is really important when it comes to managing your overall expense, because as I previously mentioned, your loan is not going to cover everything for you. So you need to work hard. You need to find internship. You need to have contacts with people. So fortunately enough, I found an internship. I got an internship in my first summer. Like half of the summer was already passed. So I joined early, but I continued there until my end of masters, and in fact, I extended my graduation date from May 21 to December 2021. So throughout this almost 1.5 years, I had been like interning with the same company. I changed my teams in between. So I started as an automation engineer, automation test engineer. So my basic task was to automate all the tasks which are done manually, and help my team there. So eventually, I shifted into more a development focused role. I would say software development focused role, and from there on, like this internship really helped me a lot because over the journey, like I said, I previously mentioned that I interned for an year and a half. So obviously there was financial support for me. I could pay almost one and a half of my tuition fees for like 1.5 of semester, and almost the entire expense from the 2020 when I secured my internship. All the living expense was covered through it. We had additional charges for CPT as well. CPT is basically the internship which we do. OPT is optical training period, and CPT is what you get. CPT is a period where you can do internship, full time internship in between your course for maximum of a year. There's a cap of 365 days, and you cannot cross that. So I did my full time. So in 1.5 years, I did my full time internship for almost 9.5 months, and the rest of, I guess, 8 to 9 months I did part time, because we are not. Our college had a rule that, and mostly it's true in most of the colleges, that you cannot continue your internship in a short and long semester. After that, like at the most, you can do one short semester. Short semester is like summer semester is considered one short semester, and long semesters are spring and fall. So you can continuously do internship, full time internship in those semesters, but then after that you can only do part time because you need to be enrolled in courses as well. So you need to take 9 credit hours. So 9 credit hours is equivalent to 3 subjects in our college. So I did that. So for one internship, it was very tough for me because I was handling 3 courses, out of which 2 were very challenging. The projects were very challenging, assignments were very challenging, and apart from that, I was working part time intern at the same company. So handling my job and handling all the courses was very tough, and that was the toughest part of my from there.
So one thing I would like to add before we move on. So not many colleges allow internships in long semesters. UTD thankfully allowed. So what you need to look at is if your college allows co-op, cooperative training. If it does not, then you're only allowed to work full time in summer semesters, that is from May through August, and in the long semesters you can only work part time. So this is something which depends heavily on colleges.
Yeah. So
It's
basically,
better. It's better if you go to colleges that allow co-op and who allow to extend your graduation.
So during
that's what I would
So
say.
this is something which we actually didn't know that UTD allows a co-op, but luckily we got into university which allows that. Secondly, like while we are talking about factors to consider, one more factor is if your university allows or gives out TA-ship, that is teaching assistantship, or RA-ship, research assistantship. UTD does not give that to master students. TA and RA is only reserved for PhD candidates. Master's students only get gradership, which is like a normal on-campus job. TA and RA-ship comes with great benefits like in-state fees, which is almost half of. So, what from what I have seen personally, three of us live together who are from DMC itself, so we knew each other since 4 years. But our other friends who went to their colleges, they all went alone. They didn't know anyone there. So the first friend which you make would be definitely your roommate and then your flatmates. So if the tuning between you and your roommate is good, then it becomes much easier. You tend to become less homesick. You can cope up with studies together. If you're in the same course, you can decide what subjects to take in which semester and then help each other out in studies.
Both have opted for data science for MS, which is quite trending now. So, how did you choose your specialization?
Basically, when we came, UTD had two courses: intelligent system course and data science course. Mostly, they were 50 to 60% similar because they had almost same subjects. Apart from couple of them, data science had big data and probability and stats, and intelligent system had AI and NLP. So these were the two major differences in those tracks. So obviously we went into data science because it we were initially interested a lot in all the machine learning algorithms, and data science was and is currently a hot topic, um, and a lot of people are moving towards data science. But when we came and we studied some of the subjects, uh, I personally found out it to be not what I expected it to be. So no, it was not that interesting maybe to me because I would like to clear one thing, that data science is essentially lots and lots and lots of maths and statistics. So be very clear what it is. Just don't go with the flow, because since it's a hot topic, everyone wants to be a data scientist, but it's not as easy as it sounds, because there are a lot of things, like lot of calculations, lot of probability stuff, stats, and basically entirely it's just maths, purely maths. So if you like maths, if you like stats, it's a very good option. You can learn a lot of new things over there, but if you really like it, do it. So personally, I completed my masters in data science specialization, but I am currently my role is also more focused towards general computer science track. So that includes front end, back end, or full stack engineering, basically development of apps, development of applications, basically. So that's what I am currently working on, and I think my interest lies more towards it. But obviously data science is an option which can be kept open. Obviously you can gain some experiences, you can do some certifications, and you can easily switch into data science if you want to.
So I totally agree with what Gaurang said, and I would like to share an experience. I, to be very honest, jumped onto the bandwagon on data science. All of these big companies are launching apps with ML here, ML there, and I thought like ML is such a great field. And with these online courses which are available on Udemy, they make ML sound so easy. Just import some packages and you're done. But that's not really the case. In big companies, although they have their own machine learning packages which they develop in house, you need to have in-depth knowledge of how those algorithms work, like on the like rare end. Without that, you won't get good opportunities in machine learning. And you have to understand that once you get into machine learning, it's only statistics, only probability, and only math. There's very less software engineering or building apps involved once you go into data science or machine learning field. And most of the times it happens that you don't directly get a data scientist role. You start with data analyst or data engineer, and from there you usually what do you say,
Move
move
up.
on to
Yeah.
the data scientist role. So data analysis and data engineering are not really lucrative or very shiny roles. They are normal analysis, playing around with data, cleaning data, or that sort of stuff. So unless you're really, really passionate about data science and like would love to do stats for the entire life, then I think you should go for data science. Else you should like think about your decision once again, because
I
there are
would.
many more opportunities in CS as well.
Yeah.
CS is a
Mhm.
huge field. There is full stack. There is only back end, only front end, or mobile,
Android, yeah.
native, and like cross-platform development. So opportunities are not less in CS, and CS will not go away, even if data science seems to be the next big thing. CS will remain.
Yeah.
What are
Also, I
your
would
thoughts?
like to add one more thing to what we were discussing currently. So, if someone is trying to pursue data science course, do your specialization in, or do your masters rather in data science, because there are colleges offering this masters in data science itself, not like what we did. We did our actual masters in computer science, and our specialization or the focus of the track or the subjects we choose were focused on data science. So more than that, I would suggest to completely focus on data science itself as your masters, because then you would learn things in more depth, and there would be more good understanding and good knowledge which you would gain. So that is also one more thing to consider, because that would also give you an upper hand in jobs, securing jobs as well. So that's one thing you should definitely consider.
So, what is the difference between the CS course and data science course?
As see, I have one friend who did his complete masters in data science. So I spoke with him, and the level at which they studied data science, or we just had probability and stats subject, but that was just the upper surface which we studied. So the in data science they had like two subjects, like two parts of that single entire topic, and they studied it at a very great depth, I would say. And lot of things and lot of research papers they have to read, a lot of um, depth is involved in this. And whereas you when you do masters in computer science and your specialization is that, so personally I felt like we did not learn it at a very great depth as to what students who pursue data science as their masters and solely focus on that, they have an upper hand, obviously, because they are fully focused on to one particular domain, rather than us, because we also were taking a lot of other subjects which were focused on generally algorithms, web development, database designs. So what I felt was, I was like, while doing completing all the subjects, I thought like I would be more interested, or my interests align more towards development, because I liked to do the development. So I was not focusing, or I was not imagining myself doing more of what you can say stats and probability and maths. So that's why I chose not to go towards data science, but to rather shift towards this development part.
Does the choice of university plays an important role in getting a job?
Yes and no. So how yes, if you are from really good universities, companies will notice you, and like they'll call you for interviews. But it doesn't mean that if you come from a not very well known university, you won't be able to apply to big companies and not get a job over there. It totally depends on your skill set and what you bring to the table. For instance, if you have good projects, or if you have done internships in even smaller companies, your resume can get picked at big companies even if you come from smaller colleges. It doesn't really matter that you have to come from a very big college like Stanford or CMU to get placed in companies like Microsoft, Google, or Amazon.
Like the name of the college has some see, each college has its own status, right? So being a part of that college indirectly gives the company an idea about you, right? So if you are landing in a good college, obviously the company will think that the candidate is good. So there's an upper hand in securing an interview, maybe I would say. But again, for someone who's coming from a university which is well known but not top in the top 10 or top 20 list, so I mean the application part is same. Just the upper hand would be like you would be getting a sort of preference maybe for some companies. So once you apply and once you get an interview, it's completely based on the candidate's potential and what he does in the interview, right? So even if you come from any college, and if you are able to crack the interview, right? So the company does not see like he's from so and so college. They only see what talent you bring, right? So if you're able to crack an interview, I think there's no question of bringing in the college. The only thing it can help in is securing an interview in short time probably, but it's solely upon the candidate's skill after that. So but the best example I would say is Sumedh landed in Google, and which is the best company there is in computer software engineering. So he did it from the University of Texas of Dallas, which is not highly placed, I would say. It's a well-known university. It has good subjects. It has good ranking, but obviously there are better universities than this. But still, people from this college can land up in very good companies, and I have seen this firsthand. So that is.
How does the hiring process look like in USA?
So generally, hiring process begins like there are 3 rounds at minimum. First round would be an online assessment where they send you an online test. It has a couple of coding questions, probably two or more. Once you pass the online assessment, you get called for 4 interviews where they ask 2 to 3 questions over phone. So you have to discuss the solution, explain time complexity, and like any drawbacks of your solution. Once you clear the phone round, then you get called for on-site, which is used now virtual on-site. And on-site depends on company to company. Some companies take really long on-sites, which lasts for like 8 hours. From 9 to 5, you sit for an interview with breaks, of course. And some companies take 5 rounds, 4 rounds, just 1 round. It depends on companies and your performance in the previous rounds as well. So to reiterate, there are 3 main steps: the online assessment, the phone interview, and virtual onsite. So virtual onsite can contain 2 sub rounds. One will be a managerial round or a behavioral round rather, where they don't ask technical questions, but questions like situational based or how you perform in a team, sort of those questions. And the other part would be technical questions.
So this is a common procedure for all the companies in USA, correct?
Yes.
Not for the Google only.
No, more or less it's the same for all companies.
So you were the coordinator for Google Developers Club. You were the member, correct? So do you think somewhere it help you to get placed into in Google?
Honestly, yes, I feel like being a lead of the developer student club at DMC helped me get an interview, if not offer, because first of all, this club was made by Google, so they can see some association of the candidate with the companies like in the past. Secondly, being a lead, they know that what qualities the lead have or what sort of things they have done in the club. So which reflects your management skills, your leadership skills, your communication skills. So I think all of that helped me to get the first round. But apart from that, being a lead of the DSC has no direct effect on the hiring decision, but of course it helps. And not only Google, I'll say, if you are a part of similar clubs, um, it will definitely help you to get interview calls from other companies as well.
Does the work experience get additional benefits for getting admits from the universities?
Yes, I think it does, because obviously having a professional experience on your resume is very good thing, and uh, universities generally look out for students who have good company experience or professional experience at top companies. So having such experience is definitely recommended. But once you come to US, there's a lot of questions. Some of the people have asked me previously that is doing a masters directly in continuation beneficial, or having some sort of professional experience and then coming back for masters is beneficial. So I would say definitely having a work experience is good. Obviously, it adds a lot of things on your resume. It gives you a lot of experience in short time. But again, when you come to US, when you're trying to find your job in interviews or giving interviews and finding internships, try to find go through the requirements of the job and see if that aligns with what you have worked on, because it's only going to help you if you have worked on that, right? If it's some new technology and you are applying for that, then you are as good as a new student or a new grad with no experience in that. So try to focus on such areas where the internships are based on what you have worked on, because that will obviously give you an additional edge over the other students. And then
I think Gaurang precisely covered everything. Work experience definitely helps. As I said, getting the first job in US is difficult, but then the journey becomes easier. So getting that first job is also help if you have a previous work experience, a related work experience, and again that also helps to get admits. So yeah, I would prefer if you like it's equal at the end. If you have internships, also it's fine. It doesn't matter if you have an internship but not a full-time job before pursuing masters. But if you can, but and if you have the determination to continue your studies after a break of couple of years, then I think you should go for a job.
One more question. How did you guys prepare for visa interview? Is it a tough process?
I think for me, I had joined private consultancy, which is a coaching class basically, and my package included the complete GRE TOEFL training plus the visa interview process. So I had mock interviews at my class. They prepared me thoroughly. Like we already got a list of questions which is generally asked by the visa interviewer, and there are some very typical questions which they are going to definitely ask. And apart from those, we also talked with couple of students who had actually done their visa interview recently. So we interacted with such people. We had a lot of mock interviews. We like they were training us to be confident and not to be very nervous in front of them. We very honest, be very casual, and be yourself, basically normal. So we practiced that a lot, and in the actual interview it went well. For me, they particularly asked if I have someone staying back in US who is like close to me, a blood relative basically. So I had my elder sister there, so I just mentioned that I have my elder sister staying, and they asked a couple of follow up questions regarding that, but nothing unusual apart from that. But I would definitely recommend that you be very very honest in front of them, because lying is just you are lying to yourself, because they have all of your biodata in front of them, from all your social media accounts to every detail. So there's no point of denying or lying something about something. So be very straightforward, be very honest, and be very confident. And
So as Gaurang mentioned, he joined a consultancy. I had not joined one. I decided to prepare it on my own. So what I did was I joined some Facebook groups for this. So there are multiple groups. One of them is hosted by Yocket, YOCKET. There people post their interview experiences like in a very detailed fashion in dialogue form, like what the officer asked, what they responded, everything like that. And there are many groups if you find on Facebook related to visa F1 process and visa process. So I jotted down a few questions which I could commonly see, and I prepared my answers for that. And I practiced like took mock interviews of my friends. They took my mock interviews, and we practiced for like a week or 2 weeks before actual interview. And when the actual interview came, many of the questions were exactly what we had prepared. So there were no surprises as such. We were asked questions about the why did we choose this university, how are we funding our expenses, what do our parents do, and a bunch of similar questions, but nothing out of the blue. They just need to know that if you're going to the US, do you have sufficient funds and will you come back and not settle over there. And you just need to be confident. Don't get nervous. They are not there to scare you. But if you get scared, you may fumble. They think you're lying, and they might reject your visa. So just stay calm, answer all questions honestly and correctly, and it should not be a difficult thing to crack.
Sumedh and Gaurang, any message for your fellow students?
I would say don't be afraid. Don't shy away from taking new challenges. Be very bold, work very hard, and enjoy your success as well. Because if you are working hard, obviously you are going to achieve something good, and the success will be much more sweeter than. That's all.
Yeah, I would say don't get discouraged while you're applying for jobs. You're bound to get rejected more than getting offers, and it's only one offer which you need, and yeah, that's all. You don't need multiple offers. You just need that one offer, and your life is set.
So, all right, I think we are done with all the questions. So, thank you guys. Thank you, Sumedh. Thank you, Gaurang, for sparing your time and sharing your experience with
Yeah,
us.
thank you, ma'am, as well, for inviting us on this platform to share and have a conversation with you. It's been a pleasure for both of us, definitely, to come here on your channel and share our personal experiences and our personal journeys to help out other students as well.
Yeah, it was great to answer some of the questions which even we had when we were planning for masters, but we didn't get this sort of help. And we always thought of like giving this information out to our juniors who like in future planned for masters, and this is a great opportunity for us. So thank you for giving us that chance.
Is it okay if I share your LinkedIn ID in my video description?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
If you guys have
definitely.
any questions, clarifying questions about this video, the topics which we discussed, or anything else, you can always contact us on LinkedIn, and we'll be there to help.
Thank you once again, and thank you, viewers, for watching us.